Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students, welcome and good morning to everyone. Today we are again with the chapter number 18, evolution, from biology class 10th. The new theories of evolution. We have different theories on evolution. As we discussed that actually what is evolution? Changes gradually in the life of an organism, changes in the structure and function and shapes of an organism, they are called evolution. So theories of evolution, there are different scientists who proposed different theories on evolution, that how evolution occurred. Here on page number 130 we have this topic from your book. Here we will discuss only two or three two evolution theories of evolution. The first one is Lamarck theory, Lamarck's or Lamarckism, and the second one will be Darwin's theory or Darwinism. So today we will discuss only Lamarck's theory, Lamarckism, theories of evolution. Actually, the evolution term has very specific, very special place in the history of life, and organisms may be defined as the development of more advanced and complex organisms from pre-existing relative simple primitive ancestors. So we about organisms, we discussed that they are evolved from the pre-existing, from primitive means old one, pre-existing means they exist from the first time, ancestors from parents. So about evolution, we think that the present shape of life, the present shape of organisms are evolved from their pre-existing animals, from their parents. So here a different hypotheses have been developed in the evolution. Outline of historical background of evolution is here. So evolution term has specific place in the history. There are various hypotheses about the about the evolution. Historical background of evolution is in the following tables. Here we have table 18.1, table number, and from page number 131 you can find book biology class 10th. On the first paragraph there is this table, name of scientist and contribution to evolution of these scientists, what actually they contribute in about the evolution. It is a little bit lengthy, but we will try to make it easily. Aristotle 384 to 322 BC. It was his time, his period, his lifetime, and in this time he contributed to biology. A proposed theory of continuous and gradual evolution of life, from simple to complex and from imperfect to perfect form. This was the contribution of Aristotle in 3084 to 32 BC. Jean Baptiste de Lamarck 1744 to 1829, it was his lifetime, and he contributed to evolution concepts of use and disuse of organs, inheritance of acquired characteristic, and these two we will discuss further. Environment acts on organisms. Okay, environmental effects, he is talking about that. Phenotypic changes are passed on. Phenotypic changes, the physical appearance, the shape which is visible to us of any organism is called phenotype. Lamarck says that they pass to generation to generation. Third one, Thomas Malthus 1766 to 1834. Human population increases geometrically and food supply increases arithmetically. This relation result in severe competitions. He wants to talk about the population and food. He says that the evolution of human is due to the food supply, that they do something for the food, that they change. Charles Lyell in 1797 to 1875. Evolution as long time uniform natural process. It is right. He is talking that evolution needs a long time to change, to take place, and it is a uniform natural process. It is very uniform. There is no changes. It is gradually demonstrated the progressive history of fossils evidence. He also demonstrated that the fossil history should be as a should be kept as a evidence of progress in evolution. Charles Darwin 1809 is a theory we will discuss here. To 1828 established a theory of evidence, theory of evolution by means of natural selections. Dear students, I am reading these lines from your book 131, page number. So you should have a book with you. Here, what does Charles Darwin said, that he contributed, established a theory of evolution by means of natural selection. Natural selection was his contribution to evolution, that established a theory evolution by means of natural selection. He said that evolution occurs through natural selection. We will discuss in detail. Alfred Russel Wallace agreed with the theory of Darwin. What did he contribute to? What did he contribute to the evolution? He just agreed to the theory of Darwin, but accepted human from the theory. But accepted humans from the theory. He accepted humans being by this theory of Darwin. August Weismann suggested acquired characteristics are modification of soma body cells, whereas continuity of race is carried out by germ cells, gamete cells. What did he contributed? He suggested that acquired characteristics are just in the is the modification in body cells, in our body cells, while the continuity of race means the characteristic they are transferred from generation to generation are just due to the gametes. Hugo de Veries is another scientist in 1848 to 1935. Evolution due to mutations, sudden change. He says he contributed in evolution. This sudden change result into new species and not by gradual process of evolution. He rejected the other theories, I think so, that he says these are not evolution is not due to the gradual process of evolution, that new species came into form. He says that it is just because of mutation and a simple change. Now we have two theories: Lamarck's theory of evolution or Lamarckism, or Darwin's theory of evolution or Darwinism. So let's start to understand Lamarck's theory of evolution, also called Lamarckism. Two names are used for this theory: Lamarck's theory or Lamarckism. Proposed by French naturalist. He was a naturalist. Naturalist means the man, the person who study nature. So he is a naturalist. He proposed this theory in 1809 in his book Philosophy Zoologique. His book name was Philosophy Zoologique. He published this theory there in his book in 1809. of Lamarckism. Lamarckism proposed his theory in two that points. First point was use and disuse of organs. Second was inheritance of acquired characteristics. So use and disuse of organs. Uh, changes developed by use and disuse of body parts. Lamarck says that changes which are developed in our bodies, in organisms' bodies, are just because of use and disuse of body. It means if a organism use a part of body, it will develop. If it disuse, that part of the body will be disappeared. The organ greatly used developed in size. Okay, if a and the organ disuse tends to become weak and can eventually disappear. Lamarck's first point of Lamarckism, use and disuse of organs. It means that if an organism use a body or part of a body part anytime and always, then this body part will greatly developed in size. And if a body part is not used and it is disused, then that body part will become weak and can eventually disappear totally. Development of muscles in athletes. This is the example of use. And like that, we have athletes, sportsmen with the muscles of their muscles of body are very active, very developed. We have athletes, so it means they use their body muscles all the times, so they have developed muscles body. And development of calf muscles, ladies who wear high heels. The calf muscles is the heel muscle that the ladies use high heels of shoes. By use too much use, the calf muscles of ladies is in developed shape. This is the example of. Regarding disuse of Lamarck's is given an Lamarckism is given an example of snake. Lamarck and disuse. Lamarck give this example of snake, that the ancestor of the snakes were ancestor of the snakes were using had four legs for moving from one place to another place, which they used to move on land in order to escape from enemies in rocks, holes, in cracks of rocks, in holes in here and there. The snakes started hiding, and they were creeping just in narrow cracks, and they were just using their body muscles while resting there, while hiding there in the holes and creeping in the cracks of rocks. They just use their body muscles, not their legs, all the time. In this new mode of life, that they were just creeping, they were just moving their muscles of bodies, and they lost their legs, and they less the body the use of legs, and as a result of disuse of the legs, the legs were of snakes were completely lost. This is how the present shape of the snakes are elongated and cylindrical types of, and they have evolved from such kind of snakes. It means the present snakes ancestor had four legs, but by disuse they lost that. The new shape, the present snakes have no legs; they are just cylindrical and long body. Inheritance of acquired characteristics. The second point of Lamarckisms. Acquired characteristics are acquired characteristics what is actually acquired characteristic? Acquired characteristics are variations in phenotype appearance because of use and disuse or environmental effects during an organism's life are called acquired characteristics. Acquired characteristics are those characteristics which the organisms get from the environment effect or from the use or disuse of the body parts. So those characteristics which are acquired to them by acquirement of environment, by effect of environment, they acquired some characteristics, they accept some characteristics, they are called acquired. What is actually inheritance? The process of which the characteristics pass from generation to generation through genetic material. Genetic materials, DNA and RNA materials are called inheritance. So we are talking about the inheritance of acquired characteristics. That Lamarck says that acquired characteristics which are developed in the bodies of organisms by environmental effect or by use and disuse are hereditable. This Lamarck says. Lamarck second point of Lamarckism is that the acquired characteristics are inheritable or hereditable, that can pass from generation to generation. The process in which the characteristics pass from generation to generation through genetics materials are called inheritance. Lamarck believed that acquired characteristics are hereditable and are passed from generation to their offsprings in reproduction. When the organisms reproduction, then they transfer acquired characteristics from generation to. Lamarck is illustrated by an example of giraffe long neck. What that Lamarck believed that long-necked giraffes were evolved from the short neck giraffe ancestors. It means Lamarck says that the giraffes have long neck in present. They they were evolved from their parents, from their ancestors, which had short necked. The short-necked ancestor, what did they do? They could graze on grasses when they were more in population. When they grazed all the grasses on the land, when there were no grasses were left on the land, that the short necked ancestor, the short necked neck giraffe can eat. So they started trying to get the leaves of the trees from the top of the trees to feed on them. They try to stretch their necks to reach top of the trees. As a result, these effort of giraffes um, mm, make them their neck long. So after this, in result, the giraffe's neck became long, and Lamarck believed that this acquired characteristics become hereditable, and it is transferred to the next generation, means to the offspring of their offsprings of their children's, and the same trend continued, and the neck went to on becoming longer and longer. So the giraffe with long necks were able to survive in the such, and the giraffe which of the short neck were who can't reach to the leaves of the trees, they disappeared, and just the long neck giraffes remain in this. So these were the 2 points of Lamarckism, and as well he given the example of snakes, disuse and use, and in inheritance of acquired characteristics he give the example of that short length and long length giraffes. Lamarck's theory was emphasizes on biological needs, that there are some biological needs to organisms, they acquired the characteristics. But August Weismann in 1870 cut off the tails of some mice and he left them to survive successfully. When they reproduce a new generation, they were born with normal tails. So it was thought that it was postulated that the acquired characteristic in somatic cells not result in phenotype. They did not directly affect the germ cells. So the germ cells, if they if they accept acquired characteristics, they can be transferred to the next generation. So it's all about today's topic. If there is any confusion, you people can ask in comment. And uh, mm, the next topic will be Darwin's theory of evolution or Darwinism. Thank you to all of you students.